Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. I'm Robert Scarpanito, your features editor.
Andrew Otten, editor-in-chief.
Dan Rockwood, Chief Wii U Online Technician.
And Andrew Stretch, Senior Content Manager. I'll go normal because we had someone else being interesting along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone who's out of a job now. All right. Sorry, buddy.
Oops.
That's all right.
Yeah. We had a little exciting opportunity here. We've had many exciting opportunities. Keep an eye on TechRaptor.net.
It's been
Lots of stuff happening.
Lots of cool stuff happening. Check out our site tomorrow for something pretty cool. But Stretch, you've been playing something that
I have.
Yeah.
I had a really cool opportunity to play a absolutely not before announced Prince of Persia game, which is, it's crazy. If you had told me in 2023 that in 2024 I would be playing and enjoying not one but two Prince of Persia games, I would have called you a damn fool. That makes sense.
I would have said, "Oh, you're playing through the Sands of Time trilogy again? That's good for you."
Oh man, I forgot that's still coming.
An HD remake. Wow.
Did that come out or did that get delayed?
Oh no, that's not a thing. Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
But yeah, so I had a chance to sit down with a representative of Ubisoft and play 30 minutes of the Rogue Prince of Persia, which is a new Prince of Persia roguelite. It is done by the team at Evil Empire. That anyone who's a fan of roguelites should know them by Dead Cells. If you haven't played Dead Cells yet, then play it. It's a real gold standard of roguelites, I feel.
Yeah.
To be clear, though, with them, they did the later content, not the initial development of Dead Cells.
Yeah, Motion Twin created the base of it. Or like
a lot of the
to
expansions you saw were them.
Well, they did the expansion content for it. Yeah. But yeah, Prince of Persia, the Rogue Prince of Persia, really cool. It's got like, I don't know how best to describe it, but like that look that French comics have, like Tintin and Valerian and stuff. It's got that art aesthetic to it.
Oh, nice.
A really nice 2D platformer. It's got the kind of let me start from the beginning. In this one, you're playing as a prince who his whole thing is that the kingdom has been invaded and attacked by Huns. And so you need to go and try to save the city, defeat the generals, yada yada. But every time you die, you have a mysterious amulet that will take him back to the last point in time that he was safe. So they're using the common Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, like time loop aspect, and they're just like hard writing that into the plot of the game. So you'll go and you'll try to explore the city, you'll defeat enemies, you'll unlock stuff, there's platforming challenges, and then you'll get your ass handed to you, and then you wake up back at the camp and everyone's like, "Oh, this attack has just started, Prince, you should get to the castle." And it's like, hold my dagger, I know, let me go and run this back again.
You're Tom Cruise, you're telling me.
Yeah.
This is Edge of Tomorrow.
I hate how obvious that is. Like, it makes so much sense, and I'm like, man, I should have thought of that.
It fits pretty perfect.
Yeah.
And like immediately, as I said, I played it for 30 minutes. Immediately, the whole like looping and the awareness of knowledge came more into play. That like, I was going, I went through a regular area and I ended up in a conversation with someone who was saying, "Oh, some people have been taken to the barbarian hideout. You should really investigate that." And I was like, okay. And I pulled up my map and I wasn't really like, there was no labeling. I wasn't really sure what was going on. But then the next time I died, there was like the option to go through like the normal path. And then there was a branched option of like, hey, instead you can go up here to the barbarian village. And then even like an added menu got added to my select screen that was a whole like web of characters with different information and how that connects to different locations and stuff. So it seems like they're almost doing a little bit of like a death loop as you learn more, as more comes into play, you can now go out and go to a different place. And that's on top of
Nice.
all of these standard roguelite mechanics. Like,
Yep.
you get certain currency when you're out there, you deposit that currency before you die, and then when you respawn, you can now add a new weapon to the move pool. And then there's also medallions that you can pick up, which are like smaller term power-ups. That you've got a bay of 4 different power-ups, and each power-up not only has its own ability, but it will also either like it can empower one of the other adjacent ones. So when you've got your row of 4, if you've got a medallion that empowers the one to the left and the one to the right, then you'd make sure to put it in like the middle 2. And so it's like
Interesting.
medallions don't just affect themselves, but you can then like stack effects on each other. I ended up with an immediate broken combo where every time I killed an enemy with a status affliction, I regained a small portion of health. It was like 1% health. But every time I kicked an enemy, they would drop resin. And then anytime I would bounce, like kick an enemy and bounce them off a wall, it would start a small fire. But the resin and the fire interact. So instead of just getting like a small bit of fire, like half of the platform would now be on fire, and then they'd burn to death, and I'd regain a little bit of health.
That's pretty
So
cool.
is this like a fast, like a Dead Cells, like you're just cruising through stuff, or is it like a
Yeah.
little? Okay.
Very much so. All of the traversal is so Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with the wall run. That they do a good job of, really making you aware when you do and do not have something in the background to wall run. But the wall run isn't just left to right and right to left. You can angle it to get like an arc to the point that
Okay.
if you're like standing and you have a wall behind you, you can just wall run up the wall directly behind you and then like jump to another wall on the left and ride that up.
That's
So
kinda cool.
even in a completely 2D space, it feels like you have a bit of the third dimension out in front of you.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
No yellow paint to tell you could do that.
No yellow
Okay,
paint.
good.
I
No, I
spent
don't want to bring the discourse up.
I spent 28 minutes in the tutorial just trying to figure out how jumping worked.
Oh, I've seen that before in a similarly described game.
It's kind of gonna be my question, because I feel like roguelites, when you look at the gaming community, there are people who love them and play a ton of them, and there are people who don't play very many. Do you find this to be an acceptable one if someone's never played a roguelite before, or should they come in with some previous experience?
I think that this is a good one to start out with, especially because it does like the obtaining of more information. I think is a non-traditional roguelite mechanic
Yep,
that
I
will
agree
draw
with you.
people in more. Because I mean, I've played a lot and really enjoy a lot of roguelites, but normally they're pretty story and like interconnectivity light. Like you do the runs because you love the gameplay. I think that this adds that bit of story element, as well as it's not just combat but also like platforming to make it appeal to a wider audience.
True.
Hearing from Ubisoft, they did say that this is it's going to be Steam Early Access May 14th. They just announced it at the Triple I show, but what they wanted to really construe, and this is probably something that they're confident in with their background at Evil Empire, is that they were saying that like the core mechanic, the movement, the interaction of the prince and how he moves in the world, that's all set, because they don't want to release a buggy early access game. That what early access is going to be is like more places to go, more interconnected stories, and then more permutations of like weapons and medallions.
That's what I was gonna wonder, because like I play Dead Cells every once in a while, and like because I'll play it for a while and then they'll do a bunch of updates and I'll play it again, And every time I come back, I'm like, oh my god, there's
Yeah.
so much to this game. Like that would be one that'd be like, that's intimidating now. When it first came out, I would say it's a perfect one to start with, but now it's like, oh my god, there's so much to do, so much to take in. That this one, what I like about this, seem more streamlined. I mean, obviously it's not fully finished because it's going to be on in early access, so who knows what it'll end up looking like. But I do
Yeah,
like
but I
that
think
part of it.
I like the idea of, their idea of early access is feature complete but not content complete.
Yeah.
But they can like gesture to the wall of ridiculous Dead Cells updates that they've been churning out and say, "Don't worry, the content will get there."
Yeah, I mean,
trust
like
us.
when you think of however they're handling, the different like buffs and items that you can get, like you can kind of be endless with what you want to put in there, as Dead Cells can show you. There's an insane amount in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy that we're 4 months into this year and I've played 2 really good Prince of Persia games.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me, I'm kind of like it's making me rethink my general vibe on Ubisoft now, because I'm like, they're bigger games. I'm personally not the biggest fan of. They kind of feel samey, but hey, give me
like
more of these.
Avatar?
You mean Far Cry?
Hey man, as someone who
Far
played
Cry
Avatar
Avatar.
as well, nope. No
Yeah.
bueno.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty looking.
But I mean, because the Lost Crown like honestly, I really enjoyed that one. Right, like that's such a fun game.
good.
Like a little.
That was one of our biggest surprises last year when we got our first hands on it.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah.
much fun, and that was from the Rayman team, right? And now there's this one from where like Ubisoft's working with an indie studio that's
pretty
known
sweet.
for roguelikes, right? So yeah, I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go, and I hope.
It would be yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll just piggyback off what you said. It'd be really cool if that's a new strategy for Ubisoft going forward. Like, hey, let's do this smaller budgety stuff. Because I don't know what the sales are like for their big budget. Because I'm sure Assassin's Creed probably sells pretty well every time because Assassin's Creed and stuff.
Yeah.
But they've got some pretty big names that they've tried to get people to buy that doesn't seem like it's sold as well. Like maybe a Watch Dogs Legion didn't probably sell as well as they'd hoped, I would imagine, and that kind of stuff. So, but all these small games have been really cool. So I'm totally in with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
do more.
especially in the landscape of games that we're seeing at the moment, this is the strategy that Nintendo is taking, that we're seeing Nintendo be very successful at, while the rest of the AAA industry is kind of crumbling under the weight of their own IP.
Yeah.
That I would love more small to medium-sized games
Perfect,
of IP that I like.
Same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince of Persia. I'm excited for this. This is going to be good because honestly,
The
all of
Rogue-
this talk is just making me want to play Dead Cells. Right? Like I want to just leave this
I mean,
podcast.
I was thinking, it's been a minute since I played. I'll probably play it now.
Yeah.
Hey man, we're a little over a month away until you can get your hands on the Rogue Prince of Persia.
It's true.
It's true.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'll give it a shot. Particularly, I'm interested in that art style, how that works out. That sounds pretty good to me.
Oh, and the music slaps. It is so good. Every new area I walked into, I paused and just like sat and listened for 20 seconds and just be like, yeah, this is good. This is fucking good.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah. And I'm excited for that. That'll be cool. You mentioned Nintendo earlier. Dan, you wanted to talk. Well, you're like our Nintendo.
He's our resident Nintendo man.
Yeah, you're like you are the uncle at Nintendo. I feel
That's
like
right.
in some ways.
Yeah, man. I mean, what an honor of a tag to have for sure. I want to talk about one of my favorite topics today with you guys, and that's the Wii U, because we don't talk about it enough, in my opinion.
It wasn't talked about enough when it was able to be purchased on the shelves either.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a
that's
marketing issue. We know that.
You know, as sad as I am that the Wii U didn't succeed, like it brought us the Switch. So I don't know if I want to go back in time and reset that timeline.
There was
Because
a bunch of really good games on the Wii U.
Yeah, and
there
most of them are
Zombie
Touch
U.
now.
Yeah.
a lot of them did get ported, except for like some of the biggest ones, like Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. But we're waiting for those.
Well, no one likes
That's
those games
Switch 2.
anyway.
Sure,
2.
those baby games, yeah, no one wants those.
That's dumb.
But
What are you talking
I-
about? A 3D HD collection has been teased, every single year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, don't worry, Silk Song is coming
there's-
out right now.
Yeah. The 3D HD collection I've heard has been finished for a long time. They're just waiting to release
It's
it.
just sitting on a computer in
That's right.
Kyoto. They just got to hit
Although,
release.
you know what's weird is like with how Nintendo is, I'm like kind of like that could be true. You know what I mean?
But
They
look
would
over
shadow
there, and
drop
you can,
that.
you can only buy it for 6 months, and then they somehow delete it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
No.
But if they do release it, if they want to distribute it digitally, we know that it's not something that would be available on the Wii U, even though those games were on the Wii U. Because we are losing online functionality on the Wii U and 3DS this week, where we're recording. We still have a couple of
RIP.
days left, but when this goes up, it's done. You can't play online on Wii U anymore. And the three of you may be asking, well, what would you play online on Wii U? Splatoon 1 is on Wii U. You can still go and
I would
play
still
those
like to
levels.
ask what I would play
Yeah,
on the
what would
Wii
you
U.
play on- Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you
okay,
have
wait.
any?
There was
Can
like,
you offer anything else?
there was like a Call of Duty on Wii U, right?
Yeah, there
Well,
were
there is
there were I
one
think 2 Call
cool-
of Duties. If you wanted to play Super Smash Brothers for Wii U, that had it wasn't
Oh,
great
yeah.
online, but that had online.
You also
Um,
could play that 3DS online. Also not great. But you
That's
could play
true, and
Smash.
that's I'm focusing a lot on the Wii U, but it should be noted the 3DS online functionality is closing down as well. So we're losing
There was a,
both of those ecosystems.
Did you guys see the cool stuff happening with Mario Maker?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
literally
right.
just
I wanted to
pulling
talk
up
about that.
Team
just,
0%.
If people aren't familiar with it, there was a group of Mario Maker creator people that wanted to make sure that before the online services went down, that every single Mario Maker map uploaded had been cleared at least once by somebody. And there were a lot that weren't. But in the last one, it took them quite a while. Because I watched the video of what that was, and I'm like, that's fucking insane. It's basically
So are you
an incredible amount of
talking about the
perfect moves.
Lost Dance or Trimming the Herbs?
I couldn't tell you the name of it. I just remember it was a lot of juggling the bomb around.
Yeah, so I think that was Trimming the Herbs. Did you hear about the controversy with all of this?
No. Well, I know that this guy said he like cheated making it or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was it.
The guy that
It's
made
that-
it cheated to get it done.
So a big part of any of the Mario Maker uploads is that you need to beat the game to then upload it. And so he created this level that, he created it and beat it with a task bot, with a tool assisted speedrun. But people didn't know that TAS was even possible with Mario Maker. Like, it hadn't been figured out a way to make it work. But this guy uploaded Trimming the Herbs with a TAS. And it was meant to be, and he says this all now, because everyone was like pushing for that to be the final one. And then he had to come out and be like, guys, I'm so sorry. Like, this was a task that I uploaded it with. It's not beatable. That his thought at the time was that, if this level gets enough buzz as not being able to be completed, then after like a month or two of it being out and it being in the cultural zeitgeist, I would reveal that it was a TAS upload, and then I would launch, publicly announce and launch the TAS tools to everyone. But it just never hit the cultural zeitgeist, so
Till the
there
very
was
end.
never a chance for him to do this big showman reveal, and so he just never did that. So the tool assisted speedrun, like the ability to do tool assisted speedruns in Mario Maker, has been a thing for the past 7 or 8 years, but just only a few people have known about it.
Which is
but
fantastic.
But then, yeah, the final level got cleared by Sanix Trimming the Herbs, previously thought to only be completable with a tool-assisted speedrun, and they are now at 101% completion of.
I would
of
encourage
Mario
people to go
Maker.
watch the video of what that level is, because it's insane.
And it's a
It's
short
not
level.
long. It's like 10,
30
15
seconds.
seconds, maybe 30 seconds. But it's basically 30 seconds of pixel perfect perfection is what's necessary.
Yeah.
That's
So what we're
wild.
saying is, man will always win against
That's right.
the machine.
Machines don't got us yet, boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck off automatons.
Uh,
But Yeah, so this is, and as of now though, right? Like no one can play that
dead.
level because
That's right.
Because now the
Not
Nintendo
in an official
Wii U.
way.
No,
I don't know
we
if there's been a
only-
way to like download maps off. People are crazy though. All these hackers.
Yeah,
Coulda
I'm
hacked
sure there's.
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
I've been even reading that some of the
they just
online
port 'em?
games, not to bring it back to Splatoon 1, but if you want to go the hacking route, like there are fan-made servers that can be set up, and you can,
Yeah.
access those in an
I'm sure
unofficial
Nintendo
capacity.
is very pro people doing that.
Oh yes,
Can
for
I
sure.
can I ask you, Dan? I just want to get on your, like, you know me, big Splatoon, love Splatoon.
Of course,
a lot.
Yeah, I could tell by your shirt.
Yeah, it's the colors of Splatoon, one of them at least. So, is there a genuine reason you would want to play Splatoon 1 now versus Splatoon 3?
I'm so happy you asked that question. So
I'm scared. I did.
Splatoon 1, if you follow the lore of Splatoon, look, Splatoon.
No, you don't need to explain it to me. I know the lore, but maybe for the other two chuckle fucks on the pod, just so they know.
Of course, yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I want to know.
So
Teach
for any
me.
listeners who don't know, no, so you can have the one of the most obvious changes is the two characters who run your like daily broadcast. Callie and Marie are in Splatoon 1. So they're in Splatoon 3 in a capacity. If you get the DLC, they're there, but they're not the ones like operating that broadcast. You're in a different city and it's a different news crew. So if you just miss like their banter, you can still log in and play Salmon Run in the offline stuff in Splatoon 1, but the majority of it is online PvP. That's true in 2 and 3 as well. So you're gonna lose that. What I am most gonna miss out on are there are certain levels that are only in Splatoon 1 that never made it over. My favorite Splatoon level is Salt Spray Rig, which is just like you're out in the ocean, it's this big oil rig, and you battle on it. And I am currently this weekend playing a lot of Splatoon. I've got my Wii U with me and ready to go. Pretty much right when we're done recording, I can hit that little icon and hop in. Because I want to be able to play Salt Spray Rig one last time. I'm hoping they eventually bring it over to Splatoon 3, but they didn't bring it to Splatoon 2, and it's not in 3. There's another level, Moray Towers, that has not been ported over. And it did a really great functionality with the gamepad. It's one of the games that really use the gamepad well, where you have your map just available all the time. You can tap on the map if you want to launch to a specific location. You can do that on the Switch, but you need to bring up the map on the screen, select where you want to go. So there's just some really cool functionality and levels that we are missing in 2 and 3 that the original just did so well, and I'm really gonna miss it. Like, I spent a ton of time on this game, and it's just really disappointing that I'm not gonna be able to go back and replay those levels, and all my gear that I've unlocked that's currently locked to the Wii U, like everything that's there, it almost feels like it was all for nothing in a way.
at
But
least
I
you
have those
This is why we
memories.
need NFTs. Then you could bring that gear
That's-
forward.
that will work. Well, at least
Yeah.
you'll have foam stars to fill that hole. in your time.
You're absolutely right.
You know, hey, like ditto, man. I was thinking all of that same stuff for me too. So thanks for putting it in the
Same
words.
levels. What's
It's
your
nice
favorite
to
Splatoon
have,
level?
you know,
That's
a
not
Splatoon
those
ally.
two. Scrappy. Nate, what's your favorite level? Not those two, of course. I mean, because we just talked about them.
I don't know. I really like Rust.
Russ.
Yeah, my favorite
Rust
map
SP.
is Dust 2. That's my favorite map.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting aspect with the unique form factor of the Wii U as well. It's like, okay, the map's not there, then you can look forward to Splatoon Ultimate, where they proudly announce that everyone is here. But when it comes to like the change in like physical format of the hardware, that you don't have a touchscreen gamepad in front of you, there's just a lot that is going to get lost on the 3DS and on the Wii U gameplay wise.
Yeah, I guess it's the last of the like two screen thing is the
Yeah.
Wii U and the 3DS kind of. That's kinda
Hugely.
it.
I just started replaying. Well, I wanted my wife to play through Ocarina of Time, so we started every Wednesday. I have her set up on the Switch with Nintendo Online, and I got an N64
Oh, I'm so
controller
sorry.
for her to use. Hey, it's working pretty well for her. But I'm playing the 3DS version, so we're playing our own games, but together, and then I can help her through stuff. And having that second screen and the map and my gear and everything on that second 3DS screen is it's just so convenient. Like I would love some kind of a second screen to come to the Switch at some point.
Yeah, but at least you can still play that, right? Because like it's like
That you
Ocarina
can
of
still
Time is
play.
online, so
Yeah.
But the 3DS Ocarina of Time is actually like maybe the best. Like the I don't know, it's a good version of the game.
I don't disagree. Yeah, it's
it might be the
extremely
best
well
version of
done.
it.
Well, I think that when Nintendo tax happens and like Pokemon Black and White cartridges or Pokemon Emerald nowadays, if you want to purchase it physically, is like $150.
Oh my god! Why?
So
God. I
once
wish
the
I had all
download
those.
servers are gone, then if someone had a 3DS and they wanted to download, they wanted to get Ocarina of Time 3DS, they need to go physical, and if they need to go physical, then stuff's
a lot of
immediately going
money.
to start ramping up in price once the digital store is
I
gone.
wonder if there's another
true.
way to play these games. I don't know.
I don't know.
I
Probably
don't
not.
think so.
Anyway,
No.
It doesn't sound right.
no,
but
Dan missed out on an opportunity. You could have said anything about Splatoon. You could have made up anything about the lore, and I would have just been like that. In my brain, I'd be like, "That's what it is now."
Yeah,
The
but
great
I would tell
thing-
people that.
truth is stranger than fiction, don't you think?
Well,
I mean,
Maybe.
when you tell people who don't know Splatoon but know of it that it's like a post-apocalyptic universe, they kind of don't believe it quite right away. But there's a lot of just weird stuff that goes on. There's evidence of a great war that was happening. The Octolings were like pushed underground, and there was a whole thing of them being like second-class citizens. It's a whole thing. So
about
if you
racism?
haven't played Splatoon 1, get a Wii U, play through the like story level at least, and then you'll get an understanding.
Yeah, Splatoon is woke.
whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Well,
Nintendo's telling a racist story, a racism story. Not
It's
racist.
there
I'm
is
sorry.
yeah, they
it
hate
is-
mushrooms, man.
it's so
Wow.
funny because really the Octolings, there was this war and they're like the Octolings are our enemies, but Splatoon 2, especially in the DLC, it kind of opens up of like actually they're they're not so bad and they can live peacefully together. It's a whole
Some of
thing.
my best friends are Octolings.
Yeah,
You know,
there you go.
I know how
But-
these stories get told.
It's a really sad day for like game preservation with these online
that's the
services
part that
closing
sucks.
down, and it makes it we're losing a lot of stuff. We talked about Mario Maker, all of those levels. In my view, the two biggest losses are Splatoon 1 and Mario Maker. There are other games you can play online on the Wii U, but some of those are going to be available on other systems that you can still play. Some of those they didn't rely on the online functionality as well. So it's just sad that it's going away. So pour one out for your old Nintendo consoles.
Yeah, I get that. And
I think I
it
know where
makes-
my 3DS is. I couldn't tell you though.
Oh, I know where mine is. It's like in a drawer right here.
Mine's in a
but-
bag.
Wow.
I
like a
have my
console
own
bag?
console bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta have
It's
that.
not quite as extensive as Stretch's console bag, but it has.
It's got a pretty
I think
extensive
it's-
console pack.
I think
Yeah.
it's got a 3DS, a PSP, and something else in there. I don't remember.
What I'm wondering is, y'all remember Street Pass? What does this mean for Street?
Yeah.
Is Street Pass dead?
So I think
Remember.
is Street Pass even still a thing? I need to double check
I don't
that
know.
because years at PAX East, like Street Pass was the best thing, and
Oh, yeah.
getting collecting and
Yep.
meeting people from like all over the world. It
That's
was
why I
so
did
cool.
my first E3. I brought it.
Yeah. So I'll need a double check on Street Pass because I do think that either went away when the eShop went down or will be going away soon.
I mean,
Yeah.
what does it rely on from the eShop?
I don't know.
That I'm not sure.
Because I think
Yeah.
I think because it's
thought it was
technically
its own
just
thing.
peer to peer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
would probably
it's
just
weird.
Continue
walk
to do
by.
its
Because
thing,
that first E3 I went to was E3 2016, 20, something like that. But I did not have my 3DS on me at the time. We went to go get the badges for it to go, prior to it opening. And we did. That's when we saw Reggie. And I was like, oh, I could have street passed Reggie maybe. And I missed the opportunity.
Okay, according
Oh,
to
so
Reddit,
bummed.
and this thread is a couple years old, but Street Pass, the technology it depends on, like Stretch said, peer-to-peer, it does work and in theory will work forever. I think what I am thinking of is so many people have moved on to the Switch. That's what they bring to conventions now.
Yeah,
There
now we've
aren't
got the
many people
3DS.
bringing their 3DS systems, so you just don't Street Pass
Yeah.
as many people.
Honestly, you would think they would carry that into the Switch, because like the Switch does do that thing where if you want to make a friend with someone, you could like it does do the kind of near communication. Like
Yeah.
if you're in the blue room, you can meet other people in the blue room to befriend
Yeah.
them. So I don't know.
That was
is
such a
interesting.
great feature. That was
COVID ruined everything, man.
the one time that I've been to Japan was during the height of the 3DS, and just
Oh.
walking around with friends
Gotta get all over.
with the 3DSs out, just consistently getting, because you could only Street Pass with like 30 people at a time,
Yep.
and then you needed to like filter through them all to like clear them out. So it would be like, walking for an hour. Everyone would pull out their 3DSs. Everyone would mash through people, put their 3DSs away again, so that we could just like keep churning through.
Good times.
Yeah, you would think like the phone games would take over that space, right? Like I feel like the mobile gaming market is kind of prime for having some kind of app on your phone to be like, hey, you're near, like they did it for COVID. Why can't they do it for gaming? You know what I mean? You're near someone who got COVID. Why can't it be like you're near someone who's playing AFK Arena? Like,
Maybe, yeah, you could make that game.
yeah,
You could, and just make it some riff on COVID. Yeah.
could call it what,
you could be
pandemic.
spreading it. Yeah, well,
That would be
we got
cool.
that
A
one.
pandemic game where
That
like
actually uses that. That'd be fucking rad, actually.
Like
or,
in,
I mean, it would
real
just
life,
be-
like what was that thing in WoW? The
Yeah, the plague
yeah, you could just do that in
that
real
they
life.
used for study, like genuine scholars used for studies.
yeah, that would be super interesting to see how quickly you could like send
That would be cool, because like
quote unquote virus.
yeah, because
through-
but the pandemic, you make your own virus, has different properties to see how it works, and obviously you can start it in different parts of the world.
Well, you could
Yeah,
probably
that'd
do
be
it that like everyone has their own virus, and then you could like see which ones you've been infected with, and you could probably see like point of origins as well. If you could be like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I just got hit by this virus.
patient
It started,
zero?
yeah, it started in Uruguay or something. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
No, we need
That's
to shut
actually-
up and make this a real thing
That's
before we
actually
publish.
a pretty fucking rad app, game idea. I would download this.
We're giving away secrets.
Niantic, give us a call, boys.
Scrappy and I've chatted with Niantic before. Oh, you guys have as well, yeah.
we've all
I know
chatted.
people there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some good times, Niantic. They're
Cut
good
this
folks
out.
there. Yeah. This is top secret, confidential.
Nobody steal this. and make it a
Embargo never
reality.
or always.
Man, I can't believe we're just streaming our pitch meetings like this.
We gotta get a publisher on board immediately.
Yeah.
Someone call Rut. He'll invest.
That dude don't invest in anything. He's a moron. Look how much money he puts into this place.
I can't say anything because I checked my Robinhood account the other day and like it's bad. I got swept up in AMC and GameStop and I made some really bad decisions.
Oh no! You're still holding on to it?
I'm still these diamond hands. You
Oh my
can't-
god! You're
can't get
holding,
me.
dude. Yeah.
Diamond is forever.
Hey
Yeah.
man.
Are you a Wall Street Bets guy? Come on. You
AMC,
one of
I
those
was for
morons?
like a summer. The summer that I spent on Wall Street Bets was a good
Dude,
time.
it was glorious. That sub is still one of my favorites to go to because they only celebrate losses.
yeah.
They're like, look, I lost 10 grand. They're like, yeah, you're stupid, like one of us.
Yep.
It's great.
But the AMC stock is on sale right now, so if you want some
Don't-
financial advice,
Don't follow what he's saying.
I feel like a stock should never be described as on sale.
Yeah,
Never
50%
ever.
off. That's what it means when it says minus 50%, right? It's 50%
yeah,
off.
it's 50% off. So you just pick up more.
Buying
The
the
best
dips.
thing and the worst thing I learned from Wall Street Bets is you don't actually lose money unless you sell. So I'm
true.
down,
I guess you haven't lost it
$700
yet.
bucks.
That's
But
true.
I
Yeah.
don't sell, so I haven't lost that money yet, really.
So I got in on the GameStop stuff, but I made money. And I made not a small amount of money.
oh, that's
That
good.
was pretty rad. I
I'm
was
jealous.
Like, fuck that, I'm out. When I saw that.
I got in
But-
by accident where I bought like a week before this took off just because, and then I checked like a week later and it was up $100 when I bought it for like $5. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then I was an idiot and tried to buy more, and then that's where I started making mistakes.
Tisk.
Yep.
Yeah, Robin Hood is my favorite mobile game.
Well, it's a great game, and so I mean, speaking of, you can do all this online, and saving money and making money. The big thing about the Wii U, it didn't cost you money for online services. Nintendo wasn't charging to be online, not like now on the Switch. You need that Nintendo Switch Online subscription, which
At least it's way cheaper than everybody else's.
so
it's
much
like 20
cheaper.
a year. Well, unless you do that expansion, what do they call it? Expansion pass or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I do have, and that's like I think, and I have a family plan, so it's like $80 a year, I think, for me.
I do the group expansion plan with 8 guys, with 7 other guys that I went to college with.
That's
And
so
they're all
smart.
family.
That's right.
Yeah.
You're related to all of them.
So it's Wii U, we're losing a lot of free like online functionality. Never had to pay for that, and I mean the Switch is going on like. I think it just turned 7 years old in March because it came out 2017,
Yes.
right?
Oh my
so,
God.
and where
It came out
signs are
2016,
pointing
didn't it?
toward
Oh,
new
2017.
Nintendo hardware, later this year. So it's we're gonna be at least a couple generations behind, but it's still a very sad
early
thing.
next year for next hardware, probably.
That's right, next year. Yeah, I forgot they had delayed that.
What we're talking here about the future of Nintendo, I kind of want to pick everyone's brains here. Do we think the next Switch is going to be a good or bad one? The next generation, because if you look,
historically, it's gonna suck.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? It's like historically you got
Well,
like
If you go
Yeah, you
by
got
what Nintendo has done, yeah.
like Super
Technically,
Nintendo,
though-
GameCube.
Technically,
Wii U.
though, I think that they've never had a handheld that sucked. So
true.
if it continues to be a hybrid handheld, will it break the curse?
Yeah. 'Cause
Maybe.
everybody even bought all the like weird models of existing ones, like a Game Boy Advance SP. You bet your ass I had one of them.
Oh yeah.
Game Boy Micro.
That was great.
Game Boy Micro was it's still huge. People still buy that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Going handheld is one of the best marketing decisions Nintendo could make, because my household, we have one gaming PC, one Xbox, one PS5, and 3 Nintendo Switch consoles for 2 people. So it's you're gonna encourage people to buy multiples for multifamily homes and
do
everything.
we think it's
multi-person.
gonna have a similar form factor? Because they've never had something that looks the same as the previous thing. They've
Yeah.
all been
Except for the
dramatically
handhelds.
different. The handheld is different, but that's this weird thing where they've merged them. Now they're all in one thing. So
Yeah.
my guess is it's gonna be very, very, very similar to the Switch.
Yeah, I feel like they've struck gold in a way unlike any other with Nintendo with the Switch, right? Like that is such a perfect device. I mean, it's showing its age now for sure, right? When you compare it to like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but it's
and well,
still
now
like
what's really getting them is like stuff like whatever the Asus handheld's called, I can't remember, and the Steam Deck.
the ROG
and-
something.
Yeah, and there's a few
yeah, they're
others
all
that are
getting
that are
homogenized.
relatively cheap that are like work really well. Obviously, the thing they don't have is Nintendo games, assuming you're not emulating on them or
Right.
something. And that's always what Nintendo's going to have is people. I will buy a Nintendo console forever, regardless of what it is, because that's where
Yep.
Mario lives. And
Right. Because I agree with you, right? Because I have a Steam Deck now, and I'm like, before the Steam Deck, the Switch was my indie gaming machine and my Nintendo exclusive machine. Now it's just my Nintendo exclusive machine.
Yep.
And then it would make me curious if they do release just like a beefier Switch, where does that put the Steam Deck? If
Yeah.
depending on what the
Yeah.
specs look like and all that, right?
Obviously, the thing with something like Steam Deck, people that are more into that, well, Steam in particular, or Valve in particular, that put a lot of work into making it like very customizable and user. You can do whatever you want with it. You can change the hardware out of it. You can change the software. They don't give a shit. They don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Nintendo, not so friendly
No.
when it comes to that.
Yeah.
No.
And I guess too with the Steam Deck, you've got, like strategy type games like those, like Crusader Kings and Civilization, like those kind of
I
things.
wouldn't want to play them on there, but you could.
Me neither, but that's the thing, you could. On the Switch,
Yeah.
you can't.
Well, I mean, if they swapped up the dock, keyboard and mouse.
No, maybe.
Keyboard and mouse with a Nintendo console feels icky. I don't even want to say it.
You don't want to watch
Mario Paint says "fuck you."
Yeah.
I say that when I learned typing when Mario teaches typing.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's right.
Mario's always been there for you.
That's right. Damn.
Yeah.
I am
Nintendo will
excited.
never
We'll
abandon us.
see. I have some trepidation about this, but I think it's April 11th is the first in-game day for Persona 4 Golden, and I have that on Switch. So I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
be
right.
attempting to play that through in real time because I did that with Persona 5 Royal. It was great, but I'm a little nervous about Persona 4 Golden. I don't think it has some of the optimizations that Royal had, so it's
No.
I think it's going to be a more
It's-
challenging experience.
It will
There's
be.
some conveniences are not there for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I may bounce off
But-
this one and not see it to
But
completion, but
because
I'm gonna
you're
try.
only playing one day at a time, it might because you're not getting slog through something for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it can get challenging though. The hardest part with Persona 5 Royal was like one of the longest in-game days is Christmas Eve. So I spent my Christmas Eve like basically just in front of the TV, just playing like many
funny.
hours of this game.
Yeah. If you haven't played Persona, that's like the final boss
Yeah.
Yeah.
of the base game, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward, and that'll be on my Switch. That'll be a cool experience. I've been saving money for a Steam Deck. I just haven't bought one yet because like I do play a good number of games on Steam. I love my gaming PC, but I just don't know like what kind of functionality I would have that I can't just get from my PC right now. And I'm waiting until I basically get a game on PC that I would really want to be able to play handheld. And honestly, Helldivers 2 would be that, but I have that on PS5 and they have not set up cross progression yet. So I don't want to start something on PC.
Just get a
when
PS Portal.
so much.
Yep.
Right.
I've
Portal.
been, it's funny
Don't.
because I wrote the article to be like, who needs one of these? And now I kind of want one. So if they ever come in
don't.
stock and I can get one, I may end up purchasing one.
You don't want one.
Honestly, I think the Steam Deck is best for like indie type games. Personally, that's where
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
put it. Like that's where I played Balatro, which also great game. It's a lot of fun. But it's where I plan to play like Stardew or Dead Cells will forever live on my Steam Deck. Like I'm just never gonna play it
Yeah.
The
anywhere
Rogue
else.
Prince of Persia can live on your Steam Deck.
Yeah, that'd be a
could.
good one for it probably.
I have a Prince of Persia question because I've never played any game in that series. Is it all the same Prince of Persia? Are you Jake Gyllenhaal in every game?
No.
Nope,
Well,
it is all-
you can imagine.
Yeah.
I think I
Be who
will.
you want to be.
There are some games that have direct continuity. Like the PS2 era had like 3 that were the same prince in a row, and like there was an overall story. But I believe for pretty much every other Prince of Persia game, it is its own unique thing. It's really just like, and it's really even just the game will have something to do with the Prince of Persia. In Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, you don't play as the prince. Your main aim for the first half of the game is to rescue the prince, and then you kind of rescue him, and then you just like, then it's a bit of a
going.
weird revenge mission.
Yeah.
But in this one, you
Yeah.
are actually playing as a prince.
That's cool.
But yeah, otherwise there's just no like you don't have to do required reading. There's no comics or movies to watch before it. Like,
Well, there
to
is
know.
a movie.
well,
True.
you don't have to watch that one to know
Yeah.
your way around this franchise.
That's good to know.
Dude.
I was asking Halo questions to a friend of mine. He kept pointing me to the books. I'm like, dude, I don't want to read about
Don't do
Halo.
that. There's very few gaming franchises that have books that are worth the shit, and it's the selection is very small.
The
They're all
Assassin's
kinda
Creed
bad.
books are really good. I
No,
will say,
they're
but
not.
that's mostly just because it's like a historical adventure. Like they don't even really talk about. I read the Assassin's Creed 2 book. They don't even talk about the Animus or any of the future stuff. It is literally just a book about Ezio.
There you go.
Honestly, that's better. I always wanted Assassin's Creed to just be like, forget the Animus stuff. Just tell me weird stories from history, like alternate history. That's all I want.
Yeah, I've got some very very important I need to bring up that we need to speak about. Did anybody see? And I'm not a person that follows the scene, but did anybody see that wrestler that went out there as Karlak?
No.
It's pretty fucking rad.
It's really fucking good. The
Yeah.
makeup work on her was astounding.
Yeah, it looks exactly like looks like
and
Karlak.
they gave a big shout out to Larian for like allowing her to do
Yeah.
that.
It's what Athena is the wrestler's name. Like I said, I don't follow wrestlers at all, so I don't know anybody.
Yeah, I haven't followed wrestling since high school.
But I saw this and I was like, that is really rad. And she came out there with the axe and stuff, and she's wearing the like it's a very good Karlach looking costume, and she's all red and everything. That was pretty rad though.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty good.
I'm sharing an image of it so that
Karlach.
we on the podcast can take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess you can Google it if you would like. Oh, dang! Wow, that is
Yeah.
actually pretty rad.
Yeah. Like it wasn't some like half not to, like to do like a shade of makeup that looks kind of like it. No, like she went full on.
Mm-hmm.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
some
that
good
is-
commitment.
Yeah, I do love there's like a little crossover in like the gaming and wrestling communities that's just pretty
So
chill.
we can.
Well,
Thanks-
I think that
thanks, Giant
for the
Bomb.
longest time that crossover between the gaming and the wrestling has kind of seemed to be more centered on the fans. Now we're starting to see it a whole bunch more like in the wrestlers and in the community. That's a really cool thing for them to have picked
rad.
up on.
Agreed.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's just important news because it's about Karlach. That's all you guys people talk about Shadowheart. Shadowheart fucking sucks. She blows.
Yeah. You know, I've been looking around for like a mobile game to kind of take up some of my time.
that's
So I've been
right.
looking for like idle games. We talked a little bit about it last week, right? With Flash games.
Rutledge is addicted to those.
Yeah.
He
Well-
he is probably the foremost leader in the world on idle games.
He's the most idle gamer.
Yes. Yeah.
So I've been using Clicker Heroes to take up a lot of my time, but I've been trying to explore around and
Clicker
see what's new.
Heroes.
There's just one I've been playing with called Penguin Isle, which is just like you build an island of penguins and you spawn
Perfect.
more penguins to mine more gold to spawn more penguins. Is
That's
kind of the whole. It's very the art style is very just like cozy chill, which I'm
We
like,
need to
this
get-
is almost too chill.
We need to get back to Kitten's game.
See, I
need to get
wanted to
back
go
to
back
it.
to Kitten's game, but the mobile
ruined it.
version of it kind of sucks.
Yeah, and then you ruined it by cheating.
I did, yeah. I hacked the game.
Fucking ruined it.
Wow.
I hacked the universe.
This is an old old callback to like a very early in that podcast we were all doing. I had to introduce Kitten's game to people.
Yeah.
And then we got addicted to it for like a month.
Yeah, and like, well, because Kitten's game, if you haven't seen it, it's literally all numbers. Like, truly, it's
Yeah.
all like the interface is all numbers.
I did it because I could play it at work. That's how I found it.
Yeah. But on
Big number
mobile, I
go
just feel
bigger.
like that it just does not feel as good.
Oh, so how many penguins do you have?
Like almost 40.
40?
40.
Not 40,000?
No.
What kind of clicker game is this bullshit?
It's not really even a clicker game. It's just
You sold it that
automation.
way.
It's more automation than anything. Like you just let them do
I
things.
wanted to picture like 10,000 penguins in a mine,
I mean,
mining for gold.
I'm sure if you play it long enough, you could get there. But I don't know. I still haven't found like one that really scratches the right itch for it. Like Kitten's
Does it
game is
have-
really unlike any other, you know?
They have voiceover by Morgan Freeman.
I don't know. I turn voice off. I turn all audio off on mobile games.
Well, you never know. They might have got him.
It's true.
Just
He's a
Happy
penguin
Feet,
lover.
the idle game.
Pretty
Oh,
much, yeah.
March of, you know what I'm talking about? You guys didn't
March
see
of the
that?
Penguins.
I gotcha.
Okay. That was Morgan Freeman.
And then I tried. Oh, AFK. We were joking about AFK Arena earlier. There's now AFK Journey. That's like a new
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
keep
seen a lot of
seeing
people
ads
talking
for
about
that.
that.
Yeah, so I actually downloaded that to see what it's like. It is not idle enough for me. It's actually very active.
Too much to do.
Well,
Shit,
there's
I
like
can pay too much attention.
there's a virtual joystick involved, and there's a long story. It's like an actual
No.
RPG. Like you run around on
Get
an
outta here.
overworld, and then when you run into a battle, then it's the idle game. But it's like hex. It's like a hex grid thing where you place units, and then they fight automatically.
So, it's like a
it's like
Dota
a
chess kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like an auto battler. I'm like, this is not AFK.
I do like.
I think at this
auto-battlers,
point,
though.
the trap that they're in is that they have made the symbol of their enterprise, the genre of the game, versus you look at like King and the Candy series. It's like they can make any fucking game, and as long as it has candy, they can call it Candy something.
It's true.
They're now stuck in this trap of like, well, we're AFK Arena, we're AFK Journey, RPG, whatever. And now, like, just every single one of their games will have to have AFK, even when it's not an AFK game.
Yeah. So I don't know. That one I want to give it a bit more time, but I'm still like, there's just too much story, and it's very, RPG. Someone's destroying this town. Oh, it's a witch. They're magic, and you gotta chase them down.
Very standard.
It's good. I've
Yeah.
also been playing a mobile game a lot lately, like probably too much.
It's
It's part of
Pokemon
it I don't
Go.
have to look at. No, no. I said a game.
Wow.
I've been
Jeez.
playing a game. It's called. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm looking at it right now. It's. It's about a very niche genre. I know I'm like one of the only people that plays it around here. I'm very passionate about them. It's a tower defense. There's a lot of very, very, very bad tower defense games on mobile. They're
So many.
terrible, and there's a lot of them. So I was trying to find one that was good, like okay, and I found one that's very good. This is made by people that definitely like tower defenses, and I was like, oh. Like as soon as I started playing, I was like, I know I'm not. This is bad news for me. It's called Infinite.
It's so good he doesn't even know the name of
Infinite
it.
Ode. I don't know. Infinitode.
Infinitode?
Something like that. However you pronounce it.
Like TODE.
Yeah, INFINITODE 2.
Huh.
And it's a free game. Like they do have ads and stuff, but the ads like it's just for currency for like there's a big tree to upgrade your towers and all that, which who gives a shit. But it is like it is incredibly. If you people like tower defenses, it is so good. And it's on Steam too, I think, because I downloaded it. Yeah, it is on Steam because I did try it, and I was like, it's one of those. It's definitely made mobile first. You can tell, but it works just fine on PC. But it's really good, and they have like leaderboards for how far you make it into like what wave, and that kind of stuff. And then what's cool about that is they have like the standard levels, and they tell a simple story. Where those have leaderboards, but every day they have a daily quest, which is like a pool of like 12 maps, I think, that rotate. There might be more because I think there's more stuff I can unlock as I go through it. But what's cool about that is that they give you the fully upgraded everything, and everybody has the same stuff. So on that leaderboard you have access to the same stuff. It's not that necessarily they have a higher upgraded tower than I do or something like that. We all have a level playing field, and so those are pretty cool to do.
Okay.
I've been playing this a lot.
I might
too
need to give
much.
it a try because I agree with you. The most tower defense games I see on
terrible.
mobile are bad. Like my go-to has always been Bloons Tower Defense, which is like
That's just like
it's-
okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of
Okay.
like the standard of like,
Yeah.
you like tower
It's
defenses?
fine.
Try this.
But this Infinitode, however they want it pronounced, is phenomenal. And it's like it's been out for several years because I looked up the dev and I was like, oh my god, have they made more? No, this is it.
This is it.
Just
They're
I
this.
was very
putting it all in.
sad. Very sad to hear that. I would love to see them do more because there's just a lot. It's a very complicated game. But there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, oh, this is definitely some tower defense lover people because there's just so much. There's a lot of strategy and thinking about tower placement stuff. Where like some games, like you just throw the right kind of tower in one spot and you're good to fucking go. And this one's not so much. Like it'll get you okay enough for a bit, but you'll notice like why you keep hitting a wall when you hit the certain wave level on a level on any given level. It's just very competently made. So all two tower defense fans out there, all three of you, go try this game.
I just
It's very
downloaded it. I'm
good.
excited to check it out because
It's good.
I like my first smart device as a millennial person was I got an iPod Touch in 2009.
Yes.
Happened to
I
be
had
the
one
year I
too. It's the
graduated high
best.
school. And that was my discovery of tower defense was on the original iPod Touch.
Really?
And so I downloaded one called The Creeps, which was a bunch of like nightmare creatures trying to get out of the closet to like a child's bedroom. And so you had to defend against them. And the original Plants vs. Zombies, which
Of course,
yeah.
that's a classic.
some, not a little bit of a different type of tower defense, but I've
Yeah.
always considered that a tower defense game.
It is.
Good.
Yeah, this would be. I think this will scratch itch for people that came from where I came from, where Warcraft 3 custom games is where I played a ton of tower defense games.
Man, I'm learning more and
Too
more about
much.
how much Warcraft 3 is crafted like a lot of
Dude.
who you are as a person today.
Well, not just that, but think of how many different genres. The whole MOBA genre, League of Legends doesn't exist without Warcraft 3.
It's true.
Like, that's one of the biggest games in the world and has been for like a decade. Dota 2 is also like, so there's a bunch of stuff that spawned out of Warcraft 3. WoW, I mean, probably wouldn't be around without Warcraft. Like, there's so many things. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, if WoW wasn't around, would Final Fantasy 14 have been such a thing?
There's a bunch of other MMOs who know.
Going on.
Because like MMOs were like EverQuest existed, but nothing was all that super popular. RuneScape people played and stuff. But like WoW is really the like holy fuck, like a ton of people are playing this.
I just realized we had a whole Flash Games episode last week, and we never brought up Neopets.
I used to play the shit out of Neopets.
Oops.
Oh my god.
That's how I learned That's how I learned to code HTML. I keep being expert.
On the storefronts.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's probably so many, like, I can't believe we didn't bring that up. Flash games, are so many good Flash games out there.
Good stuff.
You know, I kind of want to get this off my chest too. I've been playing I played the Stellar Blade demo. And I can't get over
for you.
No, I can't get over how misleading like all of the marketing is for this game.
Yeah,
and also the people like don't go to the Stellar Blade subreddit. Just trust me on that.
Pretty bad.
So there's that other game that people kept saying that it was really close to, right?
What?
I don't know.
No. Okay.
No, well, it's so people kept saying it's like near. We've said that it looks a lot like
right, but what game is it near?
Oh, AR. I would say it's like a mix. It's like a mix of it's between a Sekiro and a Bayonetta. It's between them, but it's not equal parts to either of them. Because I think there's like because in Bayonetta you can take a lot of hits. In Sekiro, you can't take a lot of hits, and I feel like this game's in the middle where it's like
Goldilocks.
So it's a normal video game.
Yes, it's a normal game, but then there's still bonfires. Like it's not bonfires, but they're basically you rest at it and it respawns all the enemies.
So this is a Souls-like.
You have to parry to like do the best damage, to like build up your meter, and then you do things like in Code Vein where you can
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're not talking about the most important bits of this game.
Poor choice of words.
No, I chose those particularly.
What is the most important part of the game?
I want you to tell me. I don't need to say what it is. But
yeah, it's a horny ass
game. People
game.
Want to know. Okay.
It's a horny ass game.
All right.
Okay, you have my attention.
I don't know.
I mean, we know you. He's got your attention. You play Splatoon.
Yeah, you fucking pervert.
Don't look up at the fan art for Splatoon. It's not not the best.
Did you not see one of our metrics for anyway? Trust me, I've looked at more than my fair share.
Oh yeah.
I'm not Splatoon in particular, but of Mario minions.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's very like because I hate that most of the discussion around the game is about the horny because that's all the chuds will talk about, which then makes everyone else want to talk against that. When in the middle, there's just an all right action game, you know, like this is all over a just okay action game.
I mean, that's the problem with so much game discourse is that like people get lost in the source in all of these discussions that just don't even fucking need to be had. And it's like, well, even if I tried to wade into this with, not a hot take, probably a milk toast take, but like you just want to discuss some nuance in the game, people were like, oh, but the titties. And it's like, I don't care. Like,
well, so that's kind of the thing I've been trying to figure out and where I stand on this, because like on one hand it's like it's a horny game and I can see why the chuds are into it, but you could like just ignore it and play it as an action game. But also I feel like the first shot you get of Eve, the protagonist, she's in a nude colored skin tight bodysuit,
Of course,
and being pulled out of a pod but just like showing everything, and it's like this game and there's jiggle physics too, so it's like this game really wants you to recognize how hot she is. You know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to ignore. It definitely feels like it's part of the game's DNA.
Yeah, sex
but
sells.
Who cares though? Yeah,
It
I mean,
does,
like that's like who gives a shit if it's in there or not?
If it gets chuds in the door, then like.
This is reminding me of an awkward moment that I was like, I'm glad I was alone, and I hope like nobody could see what is happening.
Yeah.
When I was playing Rebirth, because I had this like immediate realization. I was like, oh my god, I'm glad like this isn't recorded anywhere. Where there's a moment where you can play as Aerith as a child, and it's in Midgar, and I was like, oh, I wonder if the plate's still up there. So I pan the camera up, but if you're thinking about what happens with the camera, I was like, no, I'm not trying to look. I'm not trying to do a creep shot, like, because I know that's what's a very popular thing people try to do. That devs try to make it around so you can't do it as easily in these games. And I was like, fuck, and that looked so bad when I was really just looking up at the
I
It's
think
a little
Lollipop
achievement in
Chainsaw
here.
had an achievement for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. But I
Nier
was like,
did too,
oh,
if I
God.
remember. Like Automata.
Jesus.
And of all the times, like, it's Aerith as a child, not even.
Well,
like,
I mean, that's the time that you're back in Midgard, right?
I know, yeah. That's
Yeah.
it's just like shit. Like, I don't know.
Is the plate still up there? I assume.
I wasn't looking. I don't know. Yeah, it wasn't there. yeah, it was there.
Yeah.
By the way, oh man, that like I remember when remake came out, like that whole they use obviously it's just a 2D background for Midgar. I remember that effect looking pretty good, and Rebirth is not held up. It's pixelated.
Yeah.
Does not look as good
Skybox ain't
anymore.
skyboxing.
Nah, not
I'm sure
working.
that they'll put a more HD texture on it at some
On a
point.
piece. No, dude, that'll be part of the reveal for the PC when they remember when they did that for remake. They like had the half and half around Cloud's face, and it's like, is it different? I guess. Like, I guess
Yeah.
it is.
And I still need to finish that game. I need more time in it for sure.
The last 3 hours are tough. It really kills progression. But you know,
Well,
at
it's
that
not
point,
the
you're like
last
3 hours.
The last
in.
couple hours. It's the 3 hours preceding the last couple hours.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Oh, 'cause, yeah, I hear
the point of
side
no
quests.
return is like 6 hours.
No, not even side quests. No, just that
No.
the Temple of the Ancients is just
Oh my
not good.
God.
They really
It's
they
bad.
they built
Goes
up
too
a
long.
narrative crescendo, and then they give you a very bland dungeon with mechanics that intentionally slow you down. So it kills a lot of that momentum versus if they just let it be like maybe like a 30-40 minute thing and then like carry through to all of the end of game spectacle. It really would have nailed that landing better.
Definitely. Because there's a
that's
point in it that you realize what they're going to do to you and like how they're going to make you play in the temple longer. And I was like, you motherfuckers. Because they split the party. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to do this a bunch of times. Like, go fuck yourself.
Oh, that sucks.
As they each have their long. So it was like, it took forever. Like, I went to the point of no return thinking it'd be a couple hours. I was like, it's in Slack. I kept saying it's still going. I'm in like hour 5. Like, what the fuck?
Jeez. All right. Well, that's not exciting.
So when you get to that point, you'll know what that point is. Just be like, you know, you have a good
Well,
chunk
yeah,
of game
it's
left.
like that time in the middle is bland. Put on a podcast, and then you get right back
Then
into
there's all
the
kinds
hype
of shit that
action.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the
Right
kind of shit
after.
I want to see. But like right now,
Yes.
I'm still in. I just got to Cosmo Canyon, so
God,
that's.
you have so much left in this
I
game.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
Don't worry about the last 3 minutes.
Don't
You've
even-
got 20 to worry about before that.
Like
Yeah.
25, 30.
I honestly, I'm getting real tired of the open world.
Yeah. Did you? Oh, well, good. There's
Yeah.
nothing opens up more after you do the levels at all for you to be annoyed about.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's a big ocean.
I don't even want to think about it.
There's like 4 things to do in the ocean though.
Shut up.
That's not very.
I didn't want to
interesting.
tell him. I didn't want to spoil that part. There's not much there, but it does open.
Well, it's just the pirate treasure.
Yeah. just
Well,
we're
there's
being
that,
pirates.
and then there's another thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But
Which I didn't do because I started to do it, and I was like, I'm getting my ass handed to me, and I'm not going to be here for 4 hours. So I fucked off.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think this is a good place for wrapping up today's pod.
Anyway, let's start the 3-hour rebirth chat.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed, and if you did, leave a comment down below. Let us know what are your thoughts on the Nintendo eShop dying for the Wii U and the 3DS. What were some of your
RIP.
favorite? Are you as into Splatoon as
Yeah.
Dan is, and me, of course?
Are
Let us
you
know.
on Are you on a registry anywhere?
Look, I'm looking for
You know,
more
like a
people
wedding
to
registry.
play Splatoon
Yeah.
with online. So yeah, hit me up if you're a frequent Splatooner. Let's meet up.
I heard freak, and I was like, "Where is that going?"
No, that's, if you're a freak, hit up Dan.
Oh man, I'm gonna get some weird DMs.
But yeah, and then hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe just so you get these episodes in your feed whenever we publish them. And we'll be around next Wednesday for sure. But if you want more in like stories and stuff from us, we've got a lot going on at TechRaptor.net this week. Definitely check it out. Like things we can't say right now, but you will want
Maybe
to
like the day after this comes out.
Maybe
You should check some stuff out.
Potentially, yeah.
Maybe.
There could be some stuff on our website.
Yeah.
There will be some stuff
Actually,
on our website.
there'll be stuff on it today and then the next day
It's true.
about a big
Guys,
thing.
we run a website where stuff gets published every day. Just
Yeah,
saying
but most of it is
stuff will
garbage.
get published is the weirdest thing.
We're just explaining how websites work, I
Yeah.
think, is what we're doing.
So, it's true.
What's
Yeah.
a domain?
Not every day is Taco Tuesday, but you want to shout out Taco Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Oh, and also, if you want all this stuff like delivered directly to your inbox, sign up for our newsletter, like your
Newsletter's
email
great.
inbox. Yeah, we've been like I've been working on the newsletter for every week. We make some fun jokes there, and you get some interesting stories. We just
If you
drive that
DM
straight
Rhett,
to
he'll
you.
give you $1
Yeah,
after you sign up.
yeah, that's true. I put that
I
in
would
the
say
footer of
that.
every newsletter. People haven't DM'd him yet, but
It's true.
it's legally
a
binding
secret.
too. Yeah,
It's
so
the
he
first
can't.
letter of every sentence, so the people that figured it out.
That's your
If you're one of
reward.
the-
This
if
is
you're one of the lucky
ARG.
few. Yep.
But yeah, this has been the TechRaptor podcast. We hope you enjoyed, and we will be back in your feed next Wednesday. We'll see you then. Bye bye.
Bye.